I married him 3 hours after my fiancé called me boring. 3 hours after I found Marcus tangled in our bedsheets with my own cousin. 3 hours after he looked me dead in the eye and said, "Maybe if you weren't so plain, I wouldn't have had to find excitement somewhere else." And the man I married? Kai-chun, Billionaire CEO. I personified. The man who'd watched me from across boardrooms for 5 years with those dark, unreadable eyes. The man who'd been silently, desperately in love with me the entire time. Let me rewind. Because this story, it doesn't start with revenge. It starts with me being stupid enough to believe I was living a fairy tale. My name is Amara James, and 6 months ago, I thought I had everything figured out. I was a senior marketing executive at Shen Global Industries. I had a fiancé, Marcus Wright, who was handsome, charming, and worked in finance. We'd been together for 3 years. Our wedding was supposed to be in 2 months. I should have seen the signs. The late nights he claimed were client dinners. The way his phone was always face down. The distance in his eyes when he kissed me goodnight. But I was so busy being grateful that someone wanted boring, plain Amara, that I ignored every red flag waving in my face. See, I'm not the kind of woman who turns heads. I'm curvy, sure, but not in the Instagram model way. My dark skin is beautiful, but I spent years being told it wasn't. My hair is natural, coily, and I wear it in simple styles because I work 60-hour weeks. I don't wear much makeup. I don't do clubbing or spontaneous adventures. I'm the girl who brings homemade lunch to work, who triple checks presentations, who goes to bed at 10 p.m. Boring, as Marcus so kindly pointed out, but there was always someone who didn't think I was boring. Someone who noticed when I changed my hair. Someone whose jaw tightened every time Marcus showed up to the office Christmas party and ignored me all night. Kai-chun, my boss. Well, not directly. He was the CEO. I was several rungs below him on the corporate ladder. But our paths crossed often enough. Board meetings. Strategy sessions. That one time I spilled coffee on his custom suit and nearly died of mortification while he just smiled. Actually smiled, which apparently was something Kai-chun never did. "It's fine," he'd said, his voice deep and smooth like expensive whiskey. "I have 20 more." I'd apologize profusely anyway, and later that day, I found a gift box on my desk. Inside was a ridiculously expensive coffee tumbler with a note in sharp, elegant handwriting. "So this doesn't happen again." I kept that tumbler. Used it every single day. I didn't know it then, but Kai had been keeping that same tumbler stocked with my favorite coffee blend for 5 years. His assistant told me later he'd have it specially ordered every month. I was so blind. The day everything shattered was supposed to be ordinary. I left work early, a rare occurrence, because I wanted to surprise Marcus. I'd stopped by his favorite restaurant, picked up dinner, even grabbed a bottle of wine. I was going to tell him I'd finally agreed to his idea of honeymooning in the tropics instead of the historical tour I wanted. I was trying. God, I was trying so hard to be less boring for him. I used my key to let myself into his apartment. Called out his name. No response, but I heard music playing from the bedroom. Soft, sultry music. My stomach dropped, but I told myself I was being paranoid. Marcus wouldn't. He loved me. We were getting married. I pushed open the bedroom door. And there they were. Marcus. And my cousin, Simone. The same Simone who'd been my maid of honor. The same Simone who'd helped me pick out my wedding dress 3 weeks ago. They didn't even have the decency to stop when they saw me. Marcus just looked over annoyed, like I'd interrupted something important. "Amara, you're early." That's what he said. Not "I'm sorry." Not "this isn't what it looks like." Just annoyance that I'd interrupted. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't speak. The bag of food slipped from my fingers and hit the floor. Simone had the audacity to smirk. Actually smirk at me. "Oh, honey," she purred, stretching like a satisfied cat. "Did you really think he was happy with you?" I found my voice. It came out broken. "How long? Does it matter?" Marcus was already pulling on his pants, looking at me like I was a problem to be solved. "Look, Amara, you're a good person. But let's be honest, you're boring. You're predictable. You're safe. I need more than that." Each word was a knife. "I've been trying to make this work," he continued, running a hand through his hair. "But God, even in bed you're vanilla. Simone, she's exciting. She's passionate. She's everything you're not. I should have screamed, thrown something, slapped him. Instead, I just stood there, feeling every insecurity I'd ever had come crashing down on me. Every time I'd felt too dark, too plain, too much or not enough, it all flooded back. "The wedding's off," I whispered. Marcus shrugged. Probably for the best. "I'll have my assistant handle the cancellations." I left, walked out of that apartment in a daze. Got in my car, drove. I don't remember deciding to go back to the office. But that's where I ended up, at 7 p.m. on a Friday, sitting in my car in the underground parking garage, crying so hard I thought I might break. That's where Kai found me. I didn't hear him approach. Didn't know anyone else was still in the building. But suddenly my car door opened, and there he was, Kai Chen, in his perfectly tailored charcoal suit, his dark eyes filled with something I'd never seen before. Concern, rage, pain. Amara! My name on his lips sounded different than it ever had. Intimate, careful, like I was something precious. What happened? I couldn't answer, could only shake my head as fresh tears spilled over. He didn't hesitate. He reached in, unbuckled my seatbelt, and gently pulled me out of the car. And then, he wrapped his arms around me and let me completely fall apart against his chest. Kai Chen, the man known as the Ice King of the business world, the man who built a billion-dollar empire by age 30, the man who reportedly fired employees for being 2 minutes late. He held me in a parking garage and let me ruin his probably $1,000 suit with my tears. He cheated. I finally choked out. Marcus, with my cousin. He said I was boring. Plain. Not enough. I felt Kai's entire body go rigid. When he spoke, his voice was deadly quiet. Give me his name and address. I actually laughed through my tears. What are you going to do, fire him? He doesn't work for you. No. Kai pulled back just enough to tilt my chin up, forcing me to meet his eyes. And what I saw there made my breath catch. Pure protective fury. But I can ruin him in ways he'll never recover from. Say the word, Amara. I should have been scared. Should have been shocked. Instead, I felt something warm unfurl in my chest. Why? I whispered. Why do you care? Kai's jaw clenched. His thumb brushed away a tear on my cheek, the touch so gentle it made my heart stutter. Because I've watched you for 5 years. Watched you pour your heart into everything you do. Watched you light up entire rooms without even knowing it. Watched that fool take you for granted every single day. My breath caught. Kai! Because you're not boring, Amara. You're brilliant. You're passionate about your work. You're kind to everyone from the janitor to the board members. You bring homemade cookies to meetings because you know Johnson in accounting is diabetic and you make a sugar-free version just for him. You stay late to help junior employees with their presentations, even though it's not your job. He stepped closer, and I could smell his cologne, cedar and something darker, more intoxicating. You're not plain. You're stunning. Do you know how many board meetings I've lost track of because I was watching the way you bite your lip when you're concentrating? How many times I've had to reread reports because I was too busy noticing the way you tuck your hair behind your ear? My heart was pounding now. You noticed all that? I notice everything about you. His voice dropped lower, more intimate. The way you take your coffee. The fact that you're allergic to shellfish. That you hum when you're happy. That you have a dimple on your left cheek that only shows when you really, genuinely smile. I was drowning in his eyes, in the intensity of everything he was saying. I've been in love with you for 5 years, Amara James, and I have watched that man fail to appreciate you every single day. It's been torture. The parking garage fell away. The world fell away. There was only Kai, looking at me like I was everything. Marry me! I blinked. What? Marry me. He said it again, firm and sure. Tonight. Right now. Marry me, and let me spend the rest of my life showing you exactly how extraordinary you are. I should have said no. Should have told him he was crazy. We barely knew each other beyond professional interactions. This was insane. But I thought about Marcus. About Simone. About spending my whole life making myself smaller, quieter, less trying to be enough for people who would never value me. And I thought about Kai, about 5 years of quiet attention, of coffee tumblers and small smiles, Of someone seeing me when I thought I was invisible. Yes, I breathed. Kai's eyes flared with something fierce and possessive. You're sure? I nodded. I'm sure. 3 hours later, we stood in front of a judge. Kai had pulled strings I didn't know could be pulled. We signed papers, exchanged simple gold bands that Kai somehow produced. When the judge pronounced us husband and wife, Kai kissed me for the first time. And oh God, his lips were soft but demanding, claiming me with a hunger that made my knees weak. His hands cupped my face like I was made of glass and fire simultaneously. The kiss started gentle but quickly turned desperate, 5 years of want pouring into it. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. Come home with me, Kai murmured against my lips. Let me take care of you. I nodded, unable to form words. I had no idea what I'd just agreed to. Kai's home was not what I expected. I'd imagined something cold and modern, all glass and steel like his office. Instead, he brought me to a stunning penthouse that managed to be both luxurious and warm. Exposed brick walls, a fireplace, bookshelves filled with actual, well-read books, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city lights. It's beautiful, I whispered. It's yours now. Kai set down the small bag he'd insisted we stop for. He'd taken me shopping for basics since I'd left Marcus's place with literally nothing. Everything I have is yours, Amara. The reality of what I'd done started to sink in. I'd married my boss, a man I barely knew. Because he said he loved me, I started to shake. Kai saw it immediately. Hey! He was in front of me in seconds, hands on my shoulders. Breathe. Just breathe. I'm sorry, I gasped. I'm sorry, this is crazy. We're crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. Amara! Kai's voice was firm but gentle. Look at me. I met his eyes. We don't have to do anything you're not ready for. This marriage can be whatever you need it to be. If you want separate rooms, we'll have separate rooms. If you need time, we have all the time in the world. I meant what I said. I will wait forever for you. The sincerity in his voice cracked something open inside me. I don't want separate rooms, I admitted quietly. Heat flared in Kai's eyes. No. I shook my head. I'm scared, but I don't want to be alone tonight. Then you won't be. He took my hand, threaded his fingers through mine. Come on. Let me show you our bedroom. Our bedroom. The word sent a thrill through me. The master suite was enormous, dominated by a massive bed with soft gray linens. But Kai didn't lead me to the bed. Instead, he guided me to a sitting area by the windows. Sit, he said softly. I'll be right back. He disappeared into what I assumed was the bathroom. I heard water running. A few minutes later, he returned. Come here. He led me to the bathroom, and I nearly gasped. The massive soaking tub was filled with steaming water and what smelled like lavender bath oil. Candles flickered around the edges. You need to relax, Kai said, his voice impossibly gentle. Take as long as you want. I'll be in the bedroom if you need anything. He turned to leave, and I caught his hand. Stay, I whispered. Kai froze, turned back to me slowly. Amara! I don't want to be alone. I stepped closer to him, my heart hammering. And I want you to stay. The air between us crackled with tension. Kai's eyes darkened, his restraint visible in every tense line of his body. If I stay, he said carefully, I'm not sure I'll be able to keep my hands off you. Then don't. Something broke in Kai's expression. In one smooth movement, he pulled me against him, his mouth claiming mine in a kiss that set every nerve ending on fire. His hand slid into my hair, tilting my head to deepen the kiss. I moaned against his mouth, and I felt him shudder. Amara, he breathed, pulling back just enough to look at me. Tell me what you want. You, I whispered. I want you to make me feel something other than broken. You're not broken. His hands framed my face. You're perfect. And I'm going to spend all night proving it to you. What happened next wasn't rushed or desperate. It was slow, deliberate, worshipful. Kai undressed me with reverent hands, his eyes drinking in every inch of skin he revealed. When I tried to cover myself, old insecurities dying hard, he gently caught my wrists. Don't, he murmured. Let me see you. All of you. He traced the curves of my body with his fingertips, his touch leaving trails of fire. Do you have any idea how many times I've imagined this? How beautiful you are. No one had ever looked at me the way Kai did. Like I was art. Like I was everything. He helped me into the bath, then stripped off his own clothes unselfconsciously. I couldn't look away. Kai was all lean muscle and golden skin, powerful and perfect. He slid into the tub behind me, pulling me back against his chest. His arms wrapped around me, hands splayed on my stomach. "Relax," he whispered against my ear, sending shivers down my spine. "Let me take care of you." His hands moved in slow, sensual circles, washing me, massaging tense muscles. Every touch was electric, intimate in ways that had nothing to do with sex and everything to do with connection. I melted against him, feeling safe for the first time in hours. In years, maybe. "Kai," I breathed. Why did you wait so long?" 5 years. His hand stilled. Then he pressed a kiss to my shoulder. "Because you weren't mine to have, and I would never disrespect you that way. But God, Amara, watching you with him was agony." I turned in his arms, water sloshing, looked into his eyes. "I'm yours now." The words unleashed something in both of us. Kai kissed me again, deeper this time, his hands tangling in my wet hair. I wrapped my arms around his neck, pressing closer, feeling the hard planes of his chest against my curves. When we finally made it to the bed, both of us flushed and breathless, Kai laid me down like I was precious, fragile, treasured. "You're not boring," he whispered, his lips trailing down my neck. "You're intoxicating." His mouth found every sensitive spot I didn't know I had. His hands mapped every curve, every dip, every place that made me gasp and arch into his touch. Marcus had made me feel like something to be endured. Kai made me feel like something to be savored. "Look at me," Kai commanded softly when my eyes fluttered closed. "I want to see you. Want to watch you come apart for me." When we finally came together, it was perfect. Overwhelming. I felt tears slip down my cheeks, not from sadness but from the sheer intensity of feeling seen, wanted, cherished. "I love you," Kai breathed against my lips as we moved together. "I love you so damn much." I couldn't say it back yet. It was too soon, too new. But I held him closer, poured everything I felt into the way I kissed him, the way I whispered his name like a prayer. Afterward, we lay tangled together, my head on his chest, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my skin. "No regrets?" he asked quietly. I tilted my head up to look at him. "Not one." He smiled, a real, full smile that transformed his usually serious face. "Good. Because I'm never letting you go, Amara-chan." Amara-chan. My new name. My new life. I fell asleep in his arms, feeling like maybe, just maybe, I'd found where I belonged. I woke up to an empty bed in a moment of panic. Had last night been a dream? Had I imagined all of it? Then I smelled coffee. I pulled on Kai's shirt, which hit me mid-thigh, and padded out to find him in the kitchen. He was on the phone, speaking in rapid Mandarin, but when he saw me, his entire expression softened. He ended the call immediately. "Good morning, Mrs. Chun." The way he said it sent warmth through my entire body. "Good morning." I felt suddenly shy. "I hope you don't mind that you're wearing my shirt. I mind that you're wearing anything under it." His eyes darkened. "But we can address that later." "Coffee." He poured me a cup, prepared exactly how I liked it. Of course he knew. "I have a question," he said, leaning against the counter. "When's the last time you did something just for yourself?" I blinked. "What do you mean?" "A massage. A spa day. Shopping without looking at price tags. Anything." I couldn't remember. I don't know." Kai nodded like this confirmed something. "Get dressed. We're going out." "Kai, I have to go home. Get my things from Marcus's place." "Already handled." He pulled out his phone, showed me messages. "I sent a moving team this morning. Your belongings are being packed and brought here. Anything you want to leave behind, they'll dispose of." I stared at him. When did you even have time to arrange that?" "I woke up at 5. Made some calls." He shrugged like it was nothing. "You're never setting foot in that apartment again, Amara. That chapter is closed." Something about his protective authority made my stomach flip. The next few hours were surreal. Kai took me to a private spa where I was pampered within an inch of my life. Massage, facial, hair treatment, everything. Then shopping. And not just any shopping. "Pick whatever you want." Kai said as we entered a designer boutique. Kai, these prices are irrelevant. He pulled me close, his voice dropping. Do you know what my net worth is, Amara? I shook my head. Enough that I could buy everything in the store and not notice the dent. So please, for the love of God, stop looking at price tags and just pick what you like. It was overwhelming. I'd spent so long being careful with money, being practical, choosing the boring option. Kai noticed me hesitating over a stunning red dress. Try it on, he ordered gently. It's a bit much. Try it on. When I emerged from the dressing room, Kai's expression made me feel like a goddess. We're taking it, he told the sales associate without looking away from me. And the blue one she was eyeing. And the black one. Actually, anything she's touched, we're taking. Kai! I protested. No arguments. He stood cross to me, ran his hands down my sides appreciatively. Do you see how you look in this? Do you see how incredible you are? I looked at myself in the mirror. The woman looking back didn't look boring. She looked confident, beautiful, desired. I see it, I whispered. Over the next few weeks, Kai's spoiling became legendary. Fresh flowers delivered to my new office. He promoted me to VP of Marketing every Monday. My favorite lunch appearing on my desk. A car and driver at my disposal. A credit card with no limit. But it wasn't just material things. He reorganized a schedule to have breakfast with me every morning. Sent me texts throughout the day, thinking of you. Can't wait to come home to you. You're magnificent. He learned to cook my favorite meal, even though he had a personal chef. He drew me baths after long days. He held me when I cried over my family's betrayal. My cousin had posted about her relationship with Marcus on social media, and my family had taken their side. They're idiots, Kai said fiercely, holding me close. And you're better off without people who can't see your worth. He made love to me like I was sacred, like he'd been waiting his whole life for me. And slowly, I started to believe I was worth it. 3 months into our marriage, things started to shift. Not between us. We were better than ever. I was falling helplessly, completely in love with my husband. With his quiet strength, his unexpected humor, the way he kissed me goodbye every morning like he was going to war instead of work. But the outside world was noticing. Marcus called. I blocked him. He showed up at the office. Security escorted him out. He sent emails. Kai had IT automatically delete them. Then came the interview request. A major business magazine wanted to do a feature on Kai Chen, the reclusive CEO who'd shocked everyone by suddenly marrying. They wanted to photograph us together, interview us about our relationship. Say no, I told Kai immediately. Your privacy. I want to do it, he interrupted. I want the whole world to know you're mine. The possessiveness in his voice shouldn't have been as attractive as it was. The day of the photo shoot, I was nervous. But Kai was calm, confident. They dressed us in coordinating outfits, me in a stunning white dress, him in a sharp black suit. Mr. Chun, the photographer called. Could you stand behind your wife, arms around her waist? Kai moved into position, and the moment his arms wrapped around me, I relaxed. Leaned back into him. Perfect, the photographer breathed, clicking away. Mrs. Chun, tilt your head back. Yes, like that. Mr. Chun, look at her like, oh, never mind, you're already doing it. The interview was done in Kai's office. The journalist was professional but curious. Mr. Chun, you've been famously private for years. Why go public with your marriage now? Kai's hand found mine under the table. Because I'm tired of hiding the best thing that's ever happened to me. How did you meet? Amara worked for my company. I noticed her immediately. She's brilliant at what she does. But it took time before the stars aligned for us. He was diplomatic, not mentioning Marcus or the circumstances of our wedding. Mrs. Chun, what's it like being married to one of the most powerful men in the country? I smiled. He's just Kai to me. The man who makes me coffee in the morning and tries to cook even though he burns water. Kai squeezed my hand, eyes warm. The interview wrapped up, and I thought that was that. Until the magazine hit stands 2 weeks later. The photos were stunning. We looked like something out of a romance novel. But it was the article that caused problems. Because the journalist had done their homework. They discovered I'd been engaged to someone else just days before marrying Kai. They'd found Marcus, and he'd given them an interview. She was my fiancée until she had an affair with her boss, Marcus claimed. Amara seemed innocent, but she was clearly sleeping her way to a promotion. When I confronted her, she ran straight to Chun and seduced him into marriage. The story went viral. I was devastated. The trolls came out in force. I was a gold digger, a homewrecker, a whore. Never mind that I'd been the one cheated on. Never mind the truth. I'll sue him, Kai said, voice deadly calm. I'll destroy him for this. No. I was crying but resolute. That makes it worse. Makes it look like we have something to hide. Then what do you want me to do? Kai looked agonized. Tell me how to fix this. You can't fix it. I wiped my tears. People will believe what they want. But Kai-chin didn't become a billionaire by giving up. 3 days later, he called a press conference. I didn't know about it until he was live on national television. I'm here to address the recent allegations about my wife and our marriage, Kai began, his voice cold and commanding. And to make one thing perfectly clear, every word printed about Amara Chun is a lie. He produced evidence. Screenshots of Marcus's infidelity with timestamp dates. A statement from the building security at Marcus's apartment confirming I'd been seen leaving in distress. Testimony from Simone's neighbors who'd heard them together before my discovery. Amara James, now Amara Chun, was betrayed by her fiancé and her own family member, Kai continued. She is a woman of impeccable integrity who has earned every position she's held through talent and hard work. I pursued her for years, not the other way around. And when she was at her lowest point, I offered her an escape. A new beginning. His eyes found the camera, and it felt like he was looking directly at me. I married Amara because I have been in love with her since the day I met her. Because she is kind, brilliant, strong, and more beautiful than any magazine cover could ever capture. Because she makes me a better man. And if anyone has a problem with that, they can answer to me. It was the most romantic thing anyone had ever done. The tide turned immediately. Marcus was exposed, Simone was shamed, and suddenly I was the protagonist of a story, not the villain. When Kai came home that night, I threw myself into his arms. You didn't have to do that. I sobbed into his shoulder. Yes, I did. He held me tight. No one disrespects my wife. No one. I love you. The words burst out of me. Kai, I love you so much. He pulled back, eyes searching mine. Say it again. I love you. I'm in love with you. You're everything. Kai kissed me like a drowning man finding air. Like I'd given him the only thing he'd ever wanted. That night, he made love to me with an intensity that left us both shaking. Every touch was a claim. Every kiss a promise. Mine, he breathed against my skin. You're mine, Amara. Forever. Yours, I agreed. Always yours. 2 months later, Marcus showed up at Kai's office building. Security called ahead, asking if they should remove him. But Kai told them to let him through. I want to hear what he has to say, Kai said coldly. When Marcus walked into Kai's office, he looked terrible. Haggard. Desperate. I need to talk to Amara, he said. No. Kai didn't look up from his computer. You'll speak to me or you'll leave. Marcus's jaw clenched. She was my fiancée. She was never yours. Now Kai looked at him, and the expression on his face was terrifying. She was mine from the moment I saw her. You were just too stupid to realize what you had. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Kai stood, and even across the room, his presence was commanding. You chose another woman. You told Amara she was boring, plain, not enough. So she chose better. Better. Marcus let out a bitter laugh. You're just a rich asshole who bought her. He didn't finish the sentence because Kai was on him in seconds, slamming him against the wall. Finish that sentence, Kai said quietly. I dare you. I rushed in. I'd been in the outer office, heard the commotion. Kai, don't. Kai released Marcus immediately when he heard my voice. Turn to me. Are you okay? I'm fine. I looked at Marcus. What do you want? You, Marcus said desperately. Amara, I was wrong. I know that now. Simone left me, took half my money. I lost my job because of the scandal. I have nothing. But I realize now, you were everything. Come back to me. Please. The pathetic plea would have broken me 6 months ago. Now. No, I said simply. Amara! You had me. You had 5 years of me trying to be enough for you. Of me shrinking myself to fit into your life. And you threw it away. I stepped closer to Kai, who immediately put his arm around me. Kai saw what you couldn't. He values what you didn't. And I'm happier with him than I ever was with you. You're really choosing him? I chose him the day he chose me. I looked up at Kai, saw the fierce pride in his eyes. Every single day, I'll keep choosing him. Marcus left. We never heard from him again. Our first anniversary was approaching. A year since that night in the parking garage that changed everything. I was planning a surprise for Kai, working with his assistant to clear his schedule for a weekend getaway. But Kai, apparently, had his own plans. "Close your eyes," he said one evening, leading me through the penthouse. "What are you doing? Just trust me." He guided me to a door I'd never noticed before. It had always been locked. Now it opened, and he led me inside. "Open!" I gasped. The room had been transformed into a private library. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves filled with all my favorite authors. First editions, rare finds. A reading nook by the windows with the most comfortable-looking chair I'd ever seen. Soft lighting. A fireplace. A small desk with my laptop already set up. "Kai!" I couldn't form words. "You mentioned once, years ago in a meeting, that your dream was to have a home library." He wrapped his arms around me from behind. "Now you do." I turned in his arms, tears streaming down my face. "How do you remember something I said in passing years ago?" "I remember everything about you." He kissed my forehead. "Every word. Every smile. Every dream." "I don't deserve you." "Wrong." His voice was firm. "You deserve everything. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you have it." That night, in our bed, wrapped in Kai's arms, I thought about how different my life was from a year ago. I thought I was broken, boring, not enough. But Kai showed me the truth. I was never those things. I just needed someone who could see me clearly. "What are you thinking?" Kai murmured, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my skin. "That I'm grateful Marcus cheated on me." Kai tensed. "What?" "Because if he hadn't, I never would have found you." I propped myself up on my elbow, looked down at my husband. I would have married him and spent my whole life wondering why I felt empty. Now I'm married to the love of my life, and I've never been happier. Kai's eyes glistened. "Amara!" "Thank you," I whispered. "For seeing me, for choosing me, for loving me when I didn't even love myself." "Always," Kai breathed, pulling me down for a kiss. "I will always choose you." And he did, every single day. The charity gala was in full swing when I felt Kai's hand at the small of my back, warm and possessive even through the silk of my emerald gown. "You look stunning tonight," he murmured in my ear, sending shivers down my spine even after 2 years of marriage. "Every man in this room is jealous of me." I turned to smile at him, my heart still skipping when I saw him in a tuxedo. "Good. Let them be jealous." His eyes darkened with promise. "Careful, Mrs. Chun. Keep talking like that, and we'll be leaving this gala very early." Before I could respond, someone called my name. "Amara! There you are." I turned to see Jennifer Park, CEO of a major tech startup, approaching with a glass of champagne. She'd become a good friend over the past year as I'd stepped more fully into my role as VP, and recently, as Kai had announced, soon to be Chief Marketing Officer. "Jennifer, hi. Have you met my husband?" "Only in passing." Jennifer shook Kai's hand. "Mr. Chun, your wife is incredible. The campaign she designed for our product launch increased our visibility by 300%. Kai's expression softened with pride. "She is incredible. I'm lucky she tolerates me." I laughed, squeezing his hand. "You're more than tolerable." As Jennifer and I chatted about an upcoming collaboration, I caught sight of a familiar face across the room. My stomach dropped. Simone. She looked different, harder somehow. Her dress was designer but looked borrowed. Her smile was forced as she clung to the arm of an older man I didn't recognize. Our eyes met across the crowded ballroom. "Excuse me," I murmured to Jennifer and Kai. "I'll be right back." Kai caught my hand. "Amara." "It's okay." I squeezed his fingers. "I need to do this." I crossed the room, my heart pounding. When I reached Simone, she had the grace to look uncomfortable. "Amara," she said quietly. I didn't know you'd be here. It's my husband's company's gala, I replied evenly. So, Simone's companion had wandered off to get drinks. We stood alone in the crowd. You look good, Simone said finally. Happy. I am happy. I studied her. Are you? She laughed bitterly. Does it matter? It might. You're still my cousin, Simone, even after everything. Her eyes filled with tears. I don't deserve your kindness. No, I agreed. You don't. What you did was cruel and selfish. You destroyed our relationship, betrayed my trust, and didn't care who you hurt as long as you got what you wanted. Simone flinched but didn't argue. But I'm not going to carry that anger anymore, I continued. I'm not going to let what you did define me. I've moved on. I've built a beautiful life. And you have to live with what you did. He left me, Simone whispered. Marcus, 6 months after you married Kai, said I wasn't what he wanted either. Turns out he just wanted whatever he couldn't have. I felt a flicker of something, not quite sympathy, but maybe understanding. I'm sorry that happened to you. Are you? She looked at me searchingly. Really? I'm sorry you learned that way that Marcus was never going to make anyone happy. That he was always going to be chasing the next thing, the next thrill. I took a breath. But I'm not sorry about where I ended up. Kai is everything Marcus could never be. He's everything I didn't even know I wanted. I can see that. Simone glanced across the room to where Kai stood, his eyes tracking me even as he conversed with business associates. The way he looks at you. Marcus never looked at you like that. No, I agreed. He didn't. I'm sorry, Amara. I know it doesn't change anything. But I am truly sorry. I nodded. I accept your apology. But I can't forget, and I don't think we'll ever be family again. Not the way we were. I understand. Simone looked small suddenly. Lost. For what it's worth, you were never boring. I was just jealous. She walked away before I could respond. Kai was at my side immediately. Are you okay? I'm perfect. I leaned into him, letting his strength steady me. Let's dance. He led me to the dance floor, pulled me close. As we swayed to the music, I rested my head on his shoulder, breathing in his familiar scent. Do you ever regret it? I asked quietly. Marrying me so quickly? Tying yourself to someone who came with so much baggage. Kai pulled back to look at me, his expression fierce. Never. Not for 1 second. You are the best decision I ever made, Amara-chan. Even when I'm difficult. Especially then. He smiled. You challenge me. Keep me honest. Make me want to be better. I love you, I whispered. I love you more. He kissed me softly, not caring that we were in a room full of people. And I'm going to prove it to you when we get home. Heat pooled in my stomach. Is that a promise, Mr. Chen? It's a guarantee. Later that night, tangled in our sheets, thoroughly loved and completely satisfied, I traced patterns on Kai's chest. I have something to tell you, I said softly. Kai's hand stilled on my back. What is it? I took his hand and placed it on my stomach. We're having a baby. For a moment, he was completely still. Then his eyes met mine, and they were filled with wonder. A baby! His voice cracked. We're having a baby. I nodded, tears streaming down my face. I found out yesterday. I wanted to surprise you. Kai moved so fast. He kissed me deeply, desperately, then moved down to press kisses to my stomach. Hello, little one, he whispered. I'm your daddy, and I already love you so much. I ran my fingers through his hair, my heart so full it hurt. I never thought I could be this happy, I admitted. That night in the parking garage, I thought my life was over. I thought I was broken and unlovable. Kai looked up at me, his eyes fierce. You were never broken. You were just with the wrong person. With me, you've always been perfect. Not perfect, I corrected, but perfectly loved. Yes, Kai agreed, moving back up to gather me in his arms. Perfectly, completely, endlessly loved. As I drifted off to sleep that night, I thought about the journey that had brought me here. The pain, the betrayal, the unexpected twist of fate that had led me to Kai. Marcus had called me boring. Plain. Not enough. But Kai had shown me the truth. I was passionate, beautiful, and more than enough. I just needed someone who could see it. And now I had everything I'd ever wanted and so much more. a husband who adored me, a career I loved, a baby on the way, a life full of laughter and love and heated whispers in the dark. I thought marrying Kai was an escape. Instead, it was the beginning of everything. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Heat and Whispers for more passionate love stories that will touch your soul. Drop a comment below telling me what you thought of Amara and Kai's journey, and let me know what kind of story you want to hear next. Until next time, remember, sometimes the best love stories start with the worst heartbreaks. Red Heart.